NBC News reporting tonight that the Trump administration accidentally, totally didn't mean to fire the people working on bird flu. No idea how that happened. Now the bird flu experts at USDA, they are trying to hire them back. They did this with the National Nuclear Security Administration as well, which we talked about on last night's show. Now it's with the bird flu workers. Oops. What does this button do? Does anybody know what this button does? I thought I should ask because just a minute ago I just pushed it. Does anybody know what it does? Got any other buttons I can push? The Washington Post reports tonight that the Trump administration is considering a plan to incinerate $500 million worth of COVID tests that you've already paid for. It's not because there's anything wrong with these COVID tests. It's just because, I guess, COVID tests, icky. $500 million worth of perfectly good COVID tests that we, the taxpayers, already purchased. They are in storage. They are stockpiled right now, set to be distributed for free to the American people in the event of another big uptick in COVID. But instead, the Trump administration apparently wants to destroy them because, government efficiency. The Trump administration just today fired more than 10% of the staff at the National Science Foundation. National Science Foundation was founded in 1950 to promote science and engineering and work on U.S. defense and public health. National Science Foundation provides a quarter of the federal support that goes for basic research at America's colleges and universities. It's how we fund astronomy observatories. It is how we fund our research stations in Antarctica. Trump just today fired a huge proportion of their workforce. A senior engineer at the GSA, the General Services Administration, has also just resigned today, reportedly after trying to block people working for President Trump's top campaign donor, Elon Musk, trying to block one of Musk's guys from a system called notify.gov. Notify.gov is a system whereby the government can contact you directly. Individual citizens can be contacted directly from federal agencies. It is a secure system. It's obviously very sensitive because it's your personal cell phone number that is linked to information about you and your status and involvement with any number of government agencies. Obviously, that's a very sensitive thing. But this man named Thomas Shedd, who until recently worked for Tesla, but was just installed inside the GSA by the president's top donor, Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla. Mr. Shedd apparently demanded full read-write access to that notify.gov system. In response, the lead engineer in charge of that system, a GSA employee named Stephen Riley, apparently, quote, objected to Shedd's ability to view phone numbers and variable data for members of the public, information that Shedd, quote, would be able to download and store without anyone knowing. Riley wrote to his colleagues that once he had obtained this information, Shedd, quote, could also grant the same access to others. He said, quote, we have not received a justification for this request, which makes it difficult to suggest alternative approaches that would accomplish Shedd's goals while still being protective of personally identifying information for members of the public. Riley said, quote, I don't believe I can operate a program and system without the ability to manage access to personally identifying information about American citizens. He said, quote, as a result, I have submitted my resignation to GSA. Today will be my last day. The lead engineer at the General Services Administration trying to protect your personally identifying information linked to your cell phone number and resigning in protest when he couldn't do it. In resigning on these terms, he has let we, the public, know that President Donald Trump apparently wants to give your cell phone number and personally identifying information about you, including any of your interactions with any federal government agency, to a random guy from Elon Musk's car company. And wants to give him this information in a way that would allow him to walk out the door with it and give it to anyone else he wanted. So by resigning, trying to stop it, being unable to stop it, resigning in protest, and then explaining exactly why he resigned and what the problem was, He has let the public know that this has just happened to us, which itself is a mitzvah.